Do you want to know how to calm down a temper tantrum? I'm Nicholeen Peck. I'm a communications and parenting expert, and in this video we're going to be talking about temper tantrums. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 principles to keep in mind to help you calm down temper tantrums. We've all been there. We have seen the children spiraling out of control. In fact, let's be real, we've seen adults spiraling out of control. But in this video, I'm going to focus more on the children because I think that's probably my main audience that's going to be looking for this. So what do you do when that child is starting to whine, they're starting to talk back, they're getting angry, they're storming off? There are so many things that can happen. Temper tantrums look different for different people. Well, it starts with creating the right environment. We need to set up the right environment in our home. So what is a good environment for conquering temper tantrums? Well, in our family, we teach our children self-government. Self-government is when they understand the cause and effect of their own behaviors and they possess a knowledge of their own behaviors so that they can choose which direction they know is going to benefit them best. So cause and effect is vital, and having a knowledge of yourself is vital for setting up the right environment. This self-government environment does require the teacher or the parent to also understand self-government and be trying to have self-government themselves. So that teacher, in setting up a self-government environment, is going to have a certain kind of a tone and a certain kind of a structure. What is a tone? The tone is the feeling that that environment carries, a feeling of love, mercy, compassion, understanding, calmness. Calmness. I'm going to say that again, calmness. It is so important not to be stressed, anxious, worried, afraid, angry. Now I know you think, okay, I'm turning it off now because who can have a day where they never have all of those things? I know, we feel things. We do, but we don't have to dump them out on other people all the time. We can decide what to do with those feelings. And if we do as parents, if we learn how to master our own calmness, then we can have great success at helping our children be calm too. That's what they need when they're having a tantrum. They need to know the direction toward calmness. Now, I have a link below this video to something called the Calm Parenting Toolkit. And if you click that link, you will get that Calm Parenting Toolkit for free. So I'm just going to give that to you so that you can use it whenever you want. As well as tone, the right environment involves structure. That means skills, or a way for the family to maneuver and to discuss and to communicate so that they can solve their problems and so that they can engage with each other in the most effective manner. So, what types of skills do we use in our home? In the Teaching Self-Government Parenting course, there are a lot of skills that we teach. These 4 colored books each teach the 4 basic skills to children, which are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. This book here, Parenting a House United, has all of the parenting skills in it that you need to correct the problems. And the Teaching Self-Government Parenting course teaches you how to put all of those things together. So those are the structural elements that we use, as well as certain meetings, and we have certain problem-solving exercises that we teach the children. We have certain ways that we help them make plans for their future and take ownership of their own behaviors. So you've got to have a structure in place that helps put that self-government learning on them and then your own self-government learning on you. I know that feels like a lot of pressure, but it's actually empowering when a person realizes that they have the skills needed to control themselves. And that's what a person needs who's going out of control. Number 2, I've already touched on a bit, but is calmness. You have to be calm. You can't correct the tantrum. You can't even use those skills unless you have calmness yourself. Now, I'm a pretty fiery person. In fact, I'm one of those strong-willed type of people. So I had to deliberately address that with myself. I had to decide, Nicholeen, you can't talk to people that way. It's bad for you and it's bad for them. You need to decide which words are going to really benefit you. You see, a person who's strong-willed, a person who feels like things are going out of control, they're looking for empowerment. And so they start picking the wrong words and the wrong ideas because those things are emotional and they feel like they're going to be powerful. But true power comes in calmness. So knowing how to have calmness yourself is important. I have what's called a calm plan, and I talk about that in the Calm Parenting Toolkit that I mentioned below. So be sure to get that after this video. Number 3 is have a predictable script. That means you need to know the words to say. So in your own head, you already have a script. There's something that you say. There's a dialogue that happens in your head before it even comes out your mouth every time they start the tantrum. So you need to know the words to say. So if a child is starting to have a tantrum, then you need to know what words are going to point them toward calmness. In our family, if a young child is having a tantrum, then we say, oh, you're not calm. You need to go to the calm down place. And we have a certain place that has been designated as the calm down spot. And they go to the calm down place only until they're calm. And then afterward, we do a correction, which is a 7-step process where they get to practice things the right way, and we discuss what's happened, what they earned as far as negative consequence goes, and all that kind of stuff. And then they get to follow through on that negative consequence. If they're an older child, maybe over the ages of 6 or 7, then we do something called the rule of 3. And we do modify it slightly depending on age. I'm not going to go into that here, but we do 3 things 3 times. That's what the rule of 3 is. So I know in my mind, the script is first I do a pre-teach, then I give an instruction, then I do a correction or a praise. So there's some sort of feedback that happens. And I do that 3 times. And there's 3 special negative consequences that they earn for that every time. Now, what does it do to do that rule of 3? It disengages their emotional and it engages their prefrontal cortex or their logical. This prepares them to go to calmness. What you have to realize is when a person is having a tantrum, in their mind, they're in their emotional and they're going further and further back in their heads. So what you have to do is you have to push them forward with logical. So if you get emotional with them, that pushes them back. If you power struggle with them, that pushes them back. So you have to engage their logical by describing and by preparing them for what comes next and engaging their ability to make choices. Now, of course, when they're emotional, their ability to choose and to problem solve is less because they're in the wrong part of their brain. But if you keep pointing them there, you'd be surprised how often they land in that front part of the brain and they're able to shut down that tantrum and choose calmness, especially if that procedure has been practiced beforehand. So that's the key thing with having a script is they've got to know it. They've got to know the words that you will say as well as you know them, which means you have to role play this script ahead of time. And you have to plan where is that calm down place for those little children. Now, I know that this is just scratching the surface. There's so much more we could talk about in relation to tantrums, strong-willed children, correcting negative behaviors, and I've got a lot more for you. In fact, I highly recommend the next video, which is called The Expectation Trap versus the Cycle for Success. That will go into some great detail about how you can help your children find their way to calmness and correct them instead of falling into traps again and again throughout your day. Click on that link now, and we'll see you there.